What is up, everybody? It is Bourgeois here, and in this video we will be discussing the Formant, Distortion, Delay, and Reverb modules in the Helm Synthesizer. We're basically going to be going over the rest of the effects of the synth. And so, starting with the Formant module. The Formant module is basically just a filter that's designed to sound like a person's mouth. You could basically create different vowel sounds by picking different spots using this sort of XY pad. The corners of the XY pad correspond to basically 4 different vowel sounds. And on the top left, you have like an E sound. On the bottom left, you have like an ah. Then you have on the top right, you have like an eh. And then on the bottom, it's like an O. So I basically want to demonstrate what this sounds like. I have a saw and a square wave. They're transposed down to -24 semitones, which is 2 octaves. So it sounds like this. This is with the Formant on. This is the E part, the E sound. Now moving on to the ah. Then the eh, and then o. So they sound like all together. The next module we'll be discussing is the distortion module, and basically the distortion module is exactly what it sounds like. You're given some various different types of distortion. To understand this module, we could break it down into 3 parts. That is the distortion type, the drive, and the mix. Starting with the distortion type, 4 types of distortion to choose from. That is the soft clip, the hard clip, linear fold, and the sine fold. The soft clip essentially works as the audio reaches clipping, it will round off to the limit values. The hard clip works in the way that it basically clips the audio at the limit values. The linear fold works in the way that when the audio exceeds the limit values, it folds the waveform back into the limits. And lastly is the sine fold, which is basically works when the audio exceeds the limit values, it folds the waveform back into the limits but with a sine function. And this is done because it adds fewer high harmonics than the linear fold. So you might want to use this over the other one depending on the type of sound you're making. Next we have the drive. The drive is basically the gain added to the input signal. The more drive, the more distortion. And then you have the mix. The mix basically mixes the original input signal with the distorted signal to create the output. 100% is only the distorted signal, and 0% is only the input signal. And then if you had it like halfway, it'd be like half and half. Okay, so in this demonstration, I basically have the same sound, and we're going to go through each distortion level so you get to see what that sounds like. Here's the hard clip. Now the linear fold. And the sine fold. The next module we're going to be talking about is the delay module, which the delay module is essentially the echo effect. It will take an input audio and basically repeat it while reducing the gain of each consecutive repeat after that. To understand this module, we could break this down into 3 parts. That is the delay frequency, the feedback, and the mix. Starting with the delay frequency. The delay frequency is how fast the delay line is, and basically the faster the frequency, it will make the echo occur more often. Next we have the feedback. The feedback of the delay line sets the gain change of each echo. If the feedback is near 100% or -100%, each echo will only diminish a little bit, so it'll create a longer effect. If the feedback is near 0%, the echoes will diminish very quickly. Last, we have the mix. The mix mixes the, just like the other mix in the distortion module, it mixes the input signal with the delay signal. If you have it like at 100%, it would be only the delayed echo signal. At 0, it would be only the input signal that's unaffected, and 50% would be half the input signal and half of the delayed effect signal. So basically with this delay line, using the delay frequency, you can kind of get different types of echo effect, like patterns, depending on what you want. So I'm going to demonstrate this right now. You can also change change the frequency type into different units of like seconds, tempo, tempo dotted, tempo triplets. Last for this video, we have the reverb module. So basically the reverb module is the sound of reverb. A good example of this that the manual actually gives is like if you clap inside of a large environment, the sound will bounce around you. Like say if you're clapping, you'll hear the remnants of the clap fading away. The reverb module essentially simulates this effect of a room or a space, and it does this by having a ton of different like delay lines overlaid upon each other, and that effect gives you sort of the sound of like a room or just some sort of space. And so to understand this module, we could break this down into 3 parts. That is the feedback, the damping, and the mix. Starting with the feedback of the reverb line sets the gain stage of each echo. If the feedback is near 100%, each echo will only diminish a little bit, so it will create a long tail effect. If the feedback is near 80%, the reverb will diminish very quickly. Next is the damping. There is a simple low pass filter inside of the reverb line. That's basically what it is. The higher the damping is, the more low pass filter is applied to each echo, and it will create more of like a muffled reverb sound, or you can have it more of an open reverb sound depending on the type of sound you're making. And then lastly, we have the mix, which works just like the other modules. If you have it at 0, it will be only the input signal. If you had it at 100, it would be all the reverberated signal, and then 50% would be the half and half. So that basically covers it for this video. In the next one, we're going to be going over the modulation section and those modules. So stay posted for that one. I thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time.